Hey there, everyone. I like levels that are titled in this fashion, like this one, How on Earth, or like the first level of Crazy, or there's one later on called Now Get Out of This One, because they seem like a peek into the thought processes of the developers as they were making the game, testing one another on their creations, and then eventually, you know, their individual dawning moments of Eureka. They figured out their own partner's solutions, and it's just a nice little, I think it's a nice little peek into how they thought as they were making these levels and sharing them with each other. And this one is pretty simple, actually. Obviously, we're going to be doing a ton of building and making a blocker trap because we only have 2 blockers, and we have 1 floater who's going to be going ahead and doing the rest of everything. It's just a matter of how we put those bridges together that ensure that we succeed. We're going to start our first guy off building right at the very edge here. And then we're going to make our blocker trap as wide as possible. This is going to mitigate some of the luck involved. There, we got a pretty big blocker trap going. Now we want to make this guy a floater. Of course, I always like to make them a floater at the very bottom of their drops because that just saves time, and time is always good to have saved. He didn't even get his umbrella all the way out there. And now we're going to be building a series of zigzagging bridges. We're going to go one over to here, and that's going to give us 18 bridges, which I don't think we're going to need that many to go ahead and solve our puzzle. I'm going to go ahead and raise the release rate to 99 because we're essentially going to be getting out of here no matter what at the place where I intend to build. And now we're going to build up to the exit, and we'll be right back when I have done that successfully. Now you see I'm stretching out my bridge here. It's very important that we hit this wall and turn around because this guy needs to save his other friends. No. I guess I started from too far away there, but oh crap. Okay, so I suppose you want to start building from the very edge of this little crystal column right here because it's imperative that you hit this and turn around, which I obviously, as you can see, did not do last time, and I was scrambling to build in order to save my butt. But we need him to turn around so that we can start building from about right here. He's going to start building to the left. Okay, he has performed perfectly then. We're going to go ahead and we're going to build from about right here, and we're going to end up hitting our head on the bridge and turning this guy around. And that's going to give them a ramp that they can eventually fall on. And it looks like we're going to have to rely on luck to get them out, but as you'll see, we really won't. Now as you can see, this blocker trap is win-win for us, because if we start from the left side here, either the builder will hit the blocker and turn around, or he'll go to the right and build over this blocker. So if we start from about here, we pretty much win either way. See, he turned around, and now he's going to build his compatriots right over this blocker to safety. So if you make this blocker trap really wide, there's no way you're not going to get out of it. You're going to have way more than enough builders to get the job done. In fact, it'd probably have been a bit more of a harrowing level if they had given you, say, 15 builders instead of 20, because we had way more than enough left over there. And we are going to save, of course, our requirement because everybody is walking to safety. Nobody died except these 2 blockers, and we're going to nuke them when we're done, and we are going to move on to the next level. So that one is not so bad, considering you pretty much know you're going to have to block and build and not do a whole lot else. And now let's carefully position my finger on the nuke key so that we don't accidentally end this take early. And let's nuke. And now, of course, let's move on. The Temple of Love. Love Shack, baby. That's where it's at. Yeah. We're going to be doing, again, some more building, obviously, but we have to go pretty much down and around to make our way out of this level. And we have, now this time, the number of builders we have is very limited and kind of scary, but we can do it if we seal up our holes in the right places and do this right. And this level is unique because we're actually going to use 2 Lemmings to build a path for ourselves. The first one is going to do most of the work. We're going to make him a floater pretty much right out of the hatch here because we got to make our next guy, our blocker, go in the right place. So we're going to go ahead and make a floater early like we never do because I want to do this correctly. And we're making him a blocker right here so that when we bomb him, they have a safe place they can all land and not go kersplat when they fall down here. Okay, now we have to seal up this little hole right here. I'm going to start building from about somewhere back here, and he should build about 5 steps and successfully seal the hole. Excellent. Now we're going to build our way to somewhere about here. It's fairly, not here, but we're going to start about here. We're going to go to somewhere right about out here. It's fairly boring. We'll come back in just a second. Now, as you can see, I'm doing a lot of bridge stretching so I don't hit my head here. But now what we're going to do, when we get to about this point right here, we want to take a lemming from up here and make him a climber. Well, we'll make one going right toward the wall of climber so that we can make this quick. Let's see. Let's go ahead, and he's going to start his building again here in just a second. Okay, and now this guy is going to dig down. He's going to dig down through here. That's going to give him safe passage down here. And when this guy finishes building, we're going to make him a blocker. This poor floater who's been doing such hard work all this time, he's now going to have to stand here and be a blocker. And now we have enough lemmings, or enough builders, to get to the exit. We can start this guy going from about right here and use exactly 2 builders to get to the exit. And we need to raise our release rate about this point because we need to get everybody walking to the exit in a timely fashion. Oh, well, they were all just about out anyway, so yay for them. Alright, and they're building up to the exit, so let's go ahead and bomb and release our guys. Hopefully I made them... Maybe it was a dumb idea to put them right over the ledge. Yep, that was a pretty dumb idea. You gotta position it just a little bit to the right of the ledge so that the bombing hole makes... Oh, God. Oh, God, what a disaster. Alright, now as you can see, our blocker is a little more to the right now. He's not directly over this brick now, so when we blow him up, the edge of his hole ought to make a little step that they can go down onto and land right here. So that would be the only real bit of advice I have to impart, is to not put your blocker directly over the ledge, because the bomb hole will end up going a little to the left of the thing and you'll miss, and they'll end up splatting on the bottom of the step, or worse, landing in the well, not exactly worse, I suppose. All deaths are equal in the world of lemmings, but yeah, you gotta seal up your holes correctly, and you gotta set that blocker correctly. Otherwise, this is a pretty simple level. A little bit of a clock beater, I see, but I have never been worried about the time on it. We had 4 minutes, and really the only time you need to be worried about the time in a lemmings level is when you have 3 minutes to beat a level. Those are usually the ones that demand the most out of you time-wise, but we're going to go ahead once they start walking to the exit and start nuking, and then we will move on once more. Kind of sucks not having bombers to be able to nuke the last of your guys. I like just doing it with a bomber, not pushing F12. Well, how about that? I called a video Rocky Road a few videos ago, and now there's a level called Rocky Road. Oh no, more lemmings, quit poaching my puns! Anyway, I'm not mad about it. I can't stay mad at you, baby. We're going to go ahead, and we're going to... Wow, there are a couple of nasty traps right there. There's the lizard who will stick his tongue out and eat the lemmings, and there's that little vine right down there. So, really the beginning is the hardest part of this level. We got to worry about these things right here, and then setting up sufficient blocker traps. We're going to use 2 blockers, but we're going to set up 2 individual blocker traps with them. You'll see how that works. Otherwise, it's just pretty simple building to the exit, building and mining and bashing and tons of other things. But we're going to first start off by building our way. We only got 7 builders, so it looks like we're going to need to use them accurately. We're going to build to this little stump right here. I think we can let a few lemmings go off into the swamp vines and die. I'm not really too worried about it. Okay, yeah, he hit his head. Okay, cool. So now, what we're going to have happen is we're going to have this guy start mining from right about, I would say, here. And now we're going to set up 2 different blocker traps. We're going to set one up right here, and we're going to set one up right here. We got 1 lemming going now between these 2 guys, because we're going to need, again, 2 people to make a path, just like we did in Temple of Love. And if this miner does his job correctly, he's going to come out, and he is going to, it looks like he's not doing his job correctly. He looks like he actually might come out right on top of that little vine. Nope, he's just barely going to avoid it, it looks like. Yep. Excellent. So now we only have 2 bashers. That's the reason we had to build to this little stump instead of bashing through it. We're going to go ahead now. We only have 2 bashers. We had to use one through that tree, and we're going to have to use one somewhere up the way here. Like, let's see, probably right about here is where we're going to have to bash, or perhaps mine. We might end up bashing through here. There's a variety of ways we can dig through this stuff. But we are going to go ahead and we are going to have him build, and once he builds up to here, he's going to become a blocker, and his other friend is going to be released to go ahead and do his job. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to bomb this blocker right here. And he should hit up on this ledge anytime now. Yep. And he is going to block. He's going to block right about there. And we're going to wait for his friend to come along. And then that friend is going to build a path to the exit, which you will see once we get to the point where we're going to release the others, because this is a 4-minute level that spans the entire length of the map almost. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to come back at the point when we're going to release the other lemmings in the other blocker trap. Okay, with only 1:28 left, this seems like a good time to start releasing, folks, because I'm starting to get a little antsy in that regard. So we need to go ahead and detonate and come back to our guy right here, who is diligently mining, and he's about to start bashing. Everybody's going to start walking, and I think we may be hitting up on time, actually, so this is probably a bad time to release them. They've only got a minute or so to make this big, long walk to the exit. Hopefully, though, they won't run into this guy, because he is just going to build twice to the exit. We've got 2 builders left. Again, we had exactly as many builders as we needed. A running theme of these sorts of types of more difficult levels. They really test them within an inch of their lives. So what we're going to do, he's going to go ahead and build, and now all we got to do is pretty much just pray that they make it to the exit in time. They've got 50 seconds, though. I feel confident in their ability to walk that far. Hopefully we just saved enough and not too many of them died at the beginning there. We've got 44... Actually, now we got 44 lemmings out. I think we were supposed to save 90%, so I don't think we did it, actually. I'm starting to worry about our chances now. I think we were supposed to save 90%. I didn't actually pay to the percentage saved at the beginning. Oh, lordy. Hopefully, well, you'll know if we saved the right percent or not, because we'll be back if we didn't. And you'll see a slightly higher outnumber. I'm really worried now. And now to conclude the day, another level whose title has its origins in English punk. And it is not necessarily a hard level, but it is one we have to do exactly correctly, because we get 7 builders. And we see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're going to have to use 1 builder apiece to get over these pits, which are weirdly arranged, but everything should work out correctly if we do this right. We should be building from the far edge of these platforms to these little pillars, columns, plungers, whatever you want to call them right here. And we have to save 97% of our lemmings, so the only lemmings that are going to die are going to be ones that are part of our blocker trap. Wow, a release rate of 60, that's comparatively rare. We want to go ahead and we want to set up our blocker trap. It doesn't matter where we set him, it only matters where we set this guy, because he has to bomb in such a way that nobody dies, so that's fun to think about. We'll see if I set my blocker in the right place shortly. This may take several takes, but we're going to start from about here, and we're going to build to each little platform, and we have to do it exactly correctly. We want to do it from the far right edge so that we land down here, if I recall correctly. There's an auspicious start right there, touching the exact edge. Now, if he does this right, he's going to land on this platform, and we're going to start building up to here. That's how we do it, so that we don't land in the quicksand. Alright, that's about the time I wanted to start hearing the clicks. That's perfect. Alright, and there we have a little bit of leeway to build, because we're just going up to here. But again, we're going to want to do the same thing right here. We're going to want to build from right here so as to land on this little part down here. Okay, yeah, don't hit up on that. We don't want you turning around or anything. We need you. You are our savior, little man. Now that I'm looking at this, I don't know why we have 4 minutes to do this. This is more of a 2-minute level, I think. Okay, and now we're edging up toward the exit. I like how they pretended to make it look... Yeah. I like how they pretended to make it look like there's a chain keeping that there. That's a load-bearing hook. Or that's a load-bearing exit. One or the other. Probably the hook. Alright, now we're going to do the same thing right here. And I don't think that's going to create a splat height or anything. That would be pretty awful if that did, but I don't think it's going to. What we're going to do from there then, of course, is mine down. Because that's our only way of burrowing through here, and we only have 1 builder left. So now, excellent. He's going to cut through right about here. And then build to the exit. And then we'll just see if we bomb the guy in the right place. So it's just about building in the right place. It's not necessarily a difficult level or anything. And we want to be sure to build from the edge there too, because we only have 1 bridge to make it across. So now let's go ahead and let's go back. We got plenty of time to chillax. We don't have to set them free while he's building at a certain point or anything. We could wait till he's completely done and on his way to the exit. Ah, 1 died. Not cool. So we need to put him just a little bit more to the right the next time we do that, because now we have not saved enough Lemmings. That looks like a pretty sizable crowd, but we're going to have to do this again because 1 guy got away through the little hole down there. That's really frustrating because I did it right all the rest of the way. They just, There have been a couple levels now, this and Temple of Love, where they made it really, you can't just have a carefree way of setting your blocker. You got to really think about where you set him so he doesn't make too bad a mistake there. So he's got to be, I guess, in exactly the right place. So we're just barely not going to save enough, and we're going to be right back to do this again. Alright, let's do this again. Hopefully he's standing in the right place this time. That was really frustrating. Although I have a bad feeling about this one too. I don't know why, but I guess let's just go ahead and see. Okay, no, everybody makes it this time. Good. So he has to be standing in exactly the right spot. That frustrates me about this level. You shouldn't have to be worried about where you put your blocker. That shouldn't be the hardest part of a level where you have to use exactly enough builders to get over a pit of quicksand. That's fairly ridiculous in my opinion. You should just be able to worry about building the exit and then blow up your blockers. The building should be the hard part of the level, but enough railing against my blockers. We're going to go ahead and cut it here today because this is level number 4. And so we're going to go ahead and say goodbye, and tomorrow we're going to come back and do more Wicked levels that hopefully don't have such frustrating blocking and building. But you know what? I'm pretty sure they will, because they wouldn't be Wicked levels if they didn't.